Shadow Desi back again. Today we're going to be drawing two other characters. We have Shirene, which I'm not too sure on how to spell personally, and then we have Florence, which is based off of Scott Cawthon's Five Nights at Freddy's for Nightmare Foxy, and you will see that a lot in him. When I first started becoming an artist, I shipped my personal OC, which became a different OC, with him. So there are a lot of those on my Pinterest, and looking back, it's so cringe. There's a lot of cringe with it. But Shirene was originally drawn as a dude, so I am inclusive with that. And Shirene's aesthetic is very pleasing, and I love the way I drew her with the grunge, I wouldn't say emo because she's not really an emo, but she has that aesthetic to her, and I just love that. And right here I'm working on the details of her facial, where I'm going to draw the separation of the separate colors. But a little thing about Florence, he was originally Nightmare Foxy, and his nickname was Nightmare. But I decided to change that and separate my personal OCs from Five Nights at Freddy's because it's just too personal. But I don't know. And looking back at the playback of my drawing videos, this one specifically, I did mess up a lot, and I realized I did without realizing I did. So I made Shirene translucent as well, and you'll see how it messes up the entire background of everything else. So, totally learned my lesson. I'm just going to start going with lighter colors and just changing the opacity of the actual background. But I do enjoy this color palette. It's very beautiful. It's really cool. And I wanted to stick with drawing her as accurate as I have on the paper, because sometimes I do go back and I'll change a few details. But I really like how I didn't go with straight just black hair, how she's originally drawn. I went with a darker blue that is closer to a black, but clearly not black. And I started, instead of just doing boring backgrounds that are plain, I started adding detail, which I liked how I drew my original character with Florence. And this one scene, it's them sitting with a sunrise sunset, so I'm gonna keep that. And once again, I'm still keeping him similar to Nightmare Foxy, but I'm also gonna change, the metallic part of him. I didn't change it in his eyes, and I like that I didn't. Once again, I'm keeping his colorization the same. And I'm keeping all of his, details. But instead of making them metal, I'm going to turn them into, regular scars, because I thought that would be cool. And I'm giving him, a typical fox color. So now I'm going to be working on the eyes. I like how I did the eyebrows, but I don't like how I matched them to be the same color as him, so I might change it. And I love her eye makeup. It is beautiful. There is an age gap, which is very weird, but legal. He is 23 and she is 18. Which is like a 5-year age difference, but I keep everything legal. It may be weird, but it's legal. I might change that just because. But otherwise, like I said, the way her hair looks with colors are going to be amazing. And I still wanted to keep some part of her that was original to how I originally drew her. I didn't add her piercings because, I mean, I had like 2 piercings, but none of her ear piercings. But I kept the fishnets, the little skirt, more of like a short skirt combination, like it's a pair of shorts with a skirt attached. And I want to know if I can actually find something like that, because that is awesome and I love the way it looks. And then for him, I had a t-shirt over a hoodie, which I changed into like a dual color hoodie, which I can do for a few other characters. But just adding the details. I was gonna do, what is it called? Like an upside down, a crucifix. But I changed my mind, so we're just gonna go with studs. But I kept the crucifix on the bottom of the skirt because it's more of a minor detail. And we're gonna go with the boots. Now I did use an actual reference of my pair of boots and shoes to draw the shoes more accurately. We're just going back in with some shading. And I wasn't too sure what to do for the top, so we just made it like just a basic top. And I like it personally. I like the detail of the blush. And I also was trying to figure out if I wanted to do the original way I did her stockings, socks, same thing. I don't care. But I decided to go against that and go with the basic socks. And their boots are somewhat like combat boots, but not really. But they are somewhat leather, so I'm adding the detail there. And this is where you can see where I'm like using my reference. The lacing, it's very minor details, but I like it. I'm just going to finish up with the shading. And adding her hair highlights, because I love the 2 colors that I chose. The pink and the green. We're keeping that original. Now on to Florence's hoodie. And his pose. Which I personally like the way the hoodie looks. I like how I'm gonna have like the background is just a wall that they're sitting on. I wanted to go with more of the ripped jeans to give him more of that, look. But I also wanted to make him a bit taller as well. Give him that grunge look. Just seeing where he placed all the scars. I'm gonna add the shading for that. I did struggle with figuring out how to do the shading to make them look not as fresh, but older scars. So, just gonna add more details to the shading here. I was gonna change this mouth form, but I went against that because I thought it would be a little too weird. I also didn't originally draw it that way, and I wanted to stay close to how I drew it. Now that's where we have the look right there. We're going back with her original makeup design that I had for her originally. See, that's where I was going to do the Nightmare Foxy type tongue, but I went against that because it would be a little weird in the setting that they're in. And overall, I do like how I did his hair and his shading details. chain details are my favorite. And his shoes, of course, kind of have matching shoes because everyone's in style. And this is where I struggled with, figuring out how to draw them. So I grabbed a pair of my own Converses and just went with those. Laced them up. And this is where I'm drawing the wall. I didn't know that I had like a wall detail thing like that. And this is where I saw that she was see-through, and I wanted to have more detail to her tail anyways. I'm adding the sunrise, the sun/sunset, just playing around with different colors, and this is where I see that you made her darker and that she's translucent, so I struggle with that the entire time. I'm drawing the background, but I also didn't want to make it like too dark. Just gonna add a bit of texture and, erase where she is so it doesn't, keep there. And I like the way you can see the detail from the side of Shirene, and it looks awesome personally. I'm adding brick details to see if I actually like it. I'm not too sure. Add some more shading and changing it to more of a sunrise so I can add like light detail on them. And at this point I'm just playing around with the highlights. And adding some grass details. I kind of messed up a little bit right there. And there we are. Could add some night sky, add some more details, but there we are. Shirene and Florence. I think it's either Florence or Florence, either way. Thank you guys for watching. Stay curious, stay safe, stay cool, and keep lurking in those shadows.